Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Toki Show. So today we're going to be talking about La Niña Negra. Everyone say hi to La Niña Negra. So I'm just going to be talking about how I decided I was going to become a devotee. So it started with a dream. Of course, I had different experiences in my life that brought me closer to death. Of course, I did my research. And, I made sure I knew what I was getting myself into before I just made the decision. It took me about 3 years to learn, but I was always close to death. I started getting close to her when I was about 21, so like 8 years ago. So it was a process and it did take time. It was almost a 10-year journey, but what actually led me to say, yes, this is what I'm doing. I had a dream with her. She came to me in her black robe, and because there's different versions of her, there's La Niña Blanca, La Niña Roja, Rosada, and La Negra. So it all depends which version comes to you, and the Negra came to me in my dream. And she pretty much just showed me the altar she wanted me to build for her. She was like, it's okay if you have to tell other people this altar is for Jesus Christ, but I know that in your heart this altar is for me, and you do whatever you need to do. So she showed me the altar. She showed me exactly how she wanted it, and how to set it up. And then that's when I started doing my research on how to set up an altar for her, how to devote, you know, to her and all that good stuff. But at first, I was very scared. I thought I was inviting death into my life. I thought I was gonna die because I was inviting death into my life. When the number one reason that I was getting close to death is because I feared death. So I didn't understand it. So I had that dream with her, and then I started doing my research, and it took me a while to process the dream. At first, I didn't really understand exactly what she was telling me because I was more focused at the fact that she came to me in a dream. I was distracted at the fact that she came to me in a dream. I didn't really pay attention to the message until, I kept thinking about it and I got a reading. That's why it's so important for everyone to get reading. It's important to know who to go to, but I always went to individuals that worked with her. I never told the reader that I'm thinking about working with Santa Muerte, but she always came through and she always told me what she needed. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm not tripping. Because I was still questioning, my powers. I was still questioning the connection with spirit at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm not going crazy. I'm not losing my mind. This is something that she's guiding me to do. So I'm going to do it. Why not? At first, I thought that I was like sacrificing myself, and I thought that I was selling my soul to her. But again, I did my research and I found out that that's not what happens. You're not selling anything. So after I got the reading, um, I went to Mexico. So I got the reading and then I went to Mexico, and I wasn't even supposed to go on that trip to Mexico. And I went with my mom and my cousins, and I came across her statues. And I had a feeling that I was, but it took me like 20 minutes just to sit here and make the decision to buy the statue. And I bought it, and I felt the shift immediately. And I knew that it was going to be a big responsibility and a commitment, a lifelong commitment, because this is not a walk in the park. This is your whole entire life. The minute you decide to devote yourself to something like this, not something that you could just stop. I mean, you can respectfully, if you do it respectfully, with respect. As a devotee, I don't think I'll ever steer away from her. Once I bought her statue, I brought her into my home and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at first. I just put her in a corner and I was like, this is it. And I had done my research. I was just lazy and afraid. But that's the beauty of Santa Muerte. Like, she's very patient. Like, everything I was doing was based off of fear. It wasn't because I didn't want to or because I wanted to be disrespectful. I brought her into my home, and then it took me about 3 months, 3, 4 months. It was all a blur because I was going through a lot personally. And I felt her in my home. Like, she came to visit me after I bought that box. And it was so intense. And I bought La Niña Blanca. I didn't even buy La Niña Negra first. I bought La Niña Blanca because I was afraid of La Niña Negra. Like all the stories I would hear, and it was so intense. All the stories I would hear about La Niña Negra, and I was afraid. I was like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that. But La Niña Blanca is a little bit more calm, gentle with her approach. But La Negra, she's like, I'm sorry. This is what needs to get done. It was crazy because La Niña Negra kept coming to me, but I kept ignoring her and I kept dealing with La Niña Blanca. And which is okay, it's still Santa Muerte, but they always advise you to start with the color of the robe that comes to you. But I didn't because I was like, we're going to start from the bottom. I'm not going to sit here and start with one of her strongest aspects. Like, that's intense. So I bought this box. She came to my house and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I regretted every decision, but at that point, I couldn't take my word back. But again, it was based off of fear. The minute that I calmed down, I had a whole panic attack. My sister was like, bitch, of course you're gonna feel like you're dying. You just invited death into your home. So that kind of like grounded me and it just brought me back to reality. And ever since then, I started with my cup of water and I couldn't commit to anything else. So I just started with my cup of water. I would give her her cup of water daily. I'll make sure her cup of water was there. And then it went to an apple. I made sure she had her apple. And then it just started increasing. And then I got her candle. And I made sure she was in something like organic. She doesn't really like to be on anything plastic or man-made. It has to be organic, like wood, um, and a bunch of other materials that I can't really think about right now. But that's um that's how I decided to bring her into my life.